Yo, what's up? How old are you?
52. How old are you?
For sure, are you driving?
Nope.
Okay. Do you think it's okay to use slurs if you're not a part of the community?
I think it's okay to use slurs. Ah, if everybody uses slurs. See, here's the problem is we have all these rappers and different people of different communities that set the premise, that set the example, but yet they don't want other people to follow their example. That's my problem with it. Slurs are bad. If it's bad for one, it's bad for all. So for you to sit there and try to segregate a word because of the community, then the community shouldn't say it themselves, and then it's makes somebody else not to say it because they're setting the example. That's the problem. I can say it, but you can't. No, if it's wrong, it's wrong.
So, what do you mean by segregate? Because when we're relating to this, this is just simply saying that since they're a part of the community, since their community has specifically been affected by this
See, that's
word,
the
this
problem.
would be an
It's
act
not
of
a part.
this would be an act of
It's not a part of
reclamation.
being a community. It's not part of being a part of a community or a race. If it's a wrong word, it's a wrong word. It's not
It's
good for
wrong for
one.
someone to use in the context in which they are not a part of the community. That's the
It
point we're
doesn't matter if
saying.
they're part of the community at all. If it's the wrong word for one, it's the wrong word for everybody. If it's a
That's not
right word
true.
for
That's
one,
not true. So,
it
so this
is
would be
true.
sent.
See, that's the
No.
problem. It's everybody tries to put people on a pedestal and say, well, because you're part of a black community or an Asian, it's okay
Yeah,
for you to
because this
speak that
word has
way.
specifically historically been used to target your particular community, you can say the word. Yeah.
No, you can't, because what you're doing is setting the example for the future to keep saying it. If you want the words to disappear, quit using them. Don't use them as a term of endearment. It's not. If you say it's in a term of endearment for me, but not for you, no, then you're setting yourself above and saying, I'm special, I can use it. No, no, no. We're all created with the same equal rights, and that's to be respectful and to love and to not spread hate. But when you try to say it's okay for one and not the other, then that's like being a hypocrite. You're
No, it's not
segregating
because we're giving a
the
reason.
races. No, 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 no.
No, no, no. We're
See,
giving a reason, and stop saying it's not segregating, dude. You saying that this is segregating is absolutely ridiculous if you're comparing it to segregation. That's actually
no. What I'm
unbelievable,
saying is
right?
that
The notion
you're
here is that
separating
this
the
particular
races.
community, the
No, 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 no.
we're
Because you're
saying
trying to say it's
that.
okay for one to say it, not for
So
the other, and it's not.
yeah, yeah, and we gave a reason. What was the reason?
It doesn't matter what the
It
reason is.
does.
If
It
it's
does
good for
matter.
one, it's not good for the other. All
It
right.
does
So let me
matter.
ask you this
So
question
no, no,
here.
no, no. We gave a reason. You why if you can't respond to my reason, then there's going to be no
It's
movement in this conversation.
55 miles an hour. No, listen now. Don't get upset and cut somebody off because I disagree with you. What I'm saying is that if it's bad for one, it's bad for
It's
all. It's
lagging
just
on your
like
end. That's why.
speeding. It's just this simple. Okay, I'm sorry. It's just like speeding. If the speed limit's 55 and you do 56, then you're speeding. If you do under, then you're not. You can't say, well, I wasn't speeding because I'm a cop. No, you were still speeding. You was breaking the law. It's still wrong. That's the same word. That's the same way with using any slang word that people
So
find
what about the
offensive. If you
ambulance? What about
don't
the
want to
police?
use,
What about the police? What about the ambulance?
okay, okay, police and ambulance have a right to drive by law 15
Oh!
miles over the posted speed limit.
Oh! Oh!
Oh,
No
oh, what?
way!
Oh, yeah, but they're only doing it because they're trying to save lives. You're saying because you're black, you can use the
Oh,
N
okay.
word?
So like, no, they do it even
No,
in the
no, no, no,
context
no,
of
no, no.
not saving a life. Okay, so it is the case that again, there can be reasons that are justified insofar as that a particular community can violate
No,
the original rule. Because
not at all.
we're
Then
not.
if,
Hold up. Let me finish. Let me finish. We're not
okay,
establishing a principle here. I'm not saying it's wrong in all circumstances to use these particular terms. I'm saying it's wrong for people who are not a part of the community. That's my
see,
claim. I'm not
see,
making a
I don't,
principled assertion in terms of every single individual saying it's wrong.
okay, but I'm looking at it as a whole. So if you're saying it's okay for one to say it because they're of a certain race, then it's okay for everybody because we're all people. Now, do we not sit there and say that we should love people no matter what their differences is? But if you're saying that one person is special because they choose to have a different opinion, they choose to be something that they're not, or they make a choice on something that they should be special, and if words are used and it's okay for one person to use it, it's okay for all. That's the only distinction I'm trying to make. You can't have it both ways to say it's okay for one to use it, but then not everybody else. Because then you're setting somebody else apart, saying, well, they're better than the next race or they're better than the next person because they have the right to say it because of the way they were born or how they were born or what race they was born into. Fact is, a slaying is a slaying. You can't set an example and then chastise or demonize somebody for following the example that was set.
Yeah,
I.e., you can't have a song that uses the N word 12 times and then get mad at somebody that sings the song
yes, you
because
can.
it's the song. No, 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 you can't.
Now, let me explain why. Let me explain why. Because the
Uh,
example that the individual is setting in that scenario is not for people not a part of the community using the term. It's people who are part of the community using the term. And again,
okay.
you making the claim, let me finish.
Yeah.
You making the claim that specifically, if it is okay for one person, it's okay for everyone, right? Then you would be saying if it's okay for cops and ambulance, right, to speed, then it's okay for everyone to speed. Is that your worldview?
Okay. Is it okay for everybody to speak? No.
Oh, there we go. So it is the case that specific scenarios there can be good enough reasons to indicate a distinction in the way that we treat different communities. Here it is the case that one particular community was historically disadvantaged by the use of this particular term. Therefore, they have the ability to use this term in terms of us saying it's completely okay. Right? It would be wrong in the context of a person who's not a part of this community because there is no historical precedence for it being used against their community to unjustly treat them. So this isn't a
Okay.
double
So,
standard. Hold on, this isn't a double standard. It's simply saying you're not a part of the community and it didn't impact you historically speaking. Therefore, it's not going to be something that you should be able to use now. That's the point.
okay. So the point is, though, is that if you have a police officer that's in the point of doing their job and they have to get to a call, that's the only reason they can do it. Other than that, no. But if you're trying to say it's okay to use certain words because you're black or white or Asian or what have you, if it's offensive, it's offensive. So once again, I say if you set the example, don't get mad for people to follow it. Now, I've never read a disclaimer on a song that said, "Hey,
Hey,
guess
man,
what? If you're
Vincent,
not
I'm
black,
sorry,
if
man.
you're not
I'm
this,
not trying to cut you off repeatedly over and over again, but I just explained this, and then you made the exact same point we just explained and we just went over. Did you listen
that's
to
because
anything I
I
just said?
fundamentally disagree with your opinion that
Then
it's
what'd you
okay
disagree
for
with? Give me the
different
reason that you disagree
people.
with it.
Because if we're people and if we are of this world, and if I say something and I'm fine with it, you should have the same right to say it. It doesn't
No,
matter what race
why?
you
I
are.
gave you a response. I said you are not a part of the community that has been
I
unjustly
am part of
treated
the
throughout the
community,
context.
but I
Let me
am
finish.
part of the community. I'm a person. I'm a human being.
No,
It
no, no,
doesn't
no,
matter
because
what
it's
color
not
I
just
am.
a
See, that's the
person.
problem. You
Hold
look
up,
at
man. Hold
color,
up,
you
man.
look at everything. I don't.
No, what you're not acknowledging is the history behind these particular terms and how it's impacted people on the basis of race. The same way that if I was acknowledging the way that women have been treated historically speaking, right, in terms of it being different than men, that does not mean I'm being sexist because I'm understanding the fact that women have been oppressed throughout the context of history. Same thing we can acknowledge within the context of race. Right, it is the case that people throughout the context of history in the United States, right, have been historically disadvantaged utilizing this particular term. And that is why it's okay for individuals who are part of this particular community to use this particular term. Right? You are not a part of the community, therefore it's not okay for you to use the term. I'm giving you reasoning. If you don't want to respond to my reasoning, instead you just want to restate the original point that you made that doesn't take into account the reasons that I just provided, well, then there's going to be no movement within the context of this conversation at all. You can unmute, by the way. I send you the invite. Thank you, Taishi. I appreciate the cat. Thank you so much.
Hey, I got a question for you. If you're always looking backwards, can you ever see forward?
I'm not only looking backwards,
No,
right?
no,
I
I'm
am
saying
looking backwards and
it's a yes or no
forwards.
question. You've been doing this all night long. Answer yes or no. If you constantly
I
look
am looking backwards
backwards,
and
can you
forwards.
look forward? No, no, no.
Yeah,
Answer
what
the
you just
question.
created is a false dichotomy, okay?
No,
You're
it's not a
saying it's
false
either that you
dichotomy.
only look back
You
or you
don't.
only
No,
look
no. I'm trying to
forward,
make a
and
point.
that is
But
a
answer the
false
question.
dichotomy.
If you only look backwards, can you see forward?
It is a false dichotomy. That's a
So
fallacy. A false dichotomy fallacy is essentially saying that you're saying that it's only the case that it can go this way or the other way, when in reality it is the case that it can be more. They can be true simultaneously.
okay. So what I'm
I
saying,
don't ask questions with a yes or no that could be true simultaneously because a yes or no when it relates to a
actually, you did it to
proposition.
the last
Wait,
girl
hold
three
up.
times tonight with
A
great
yes
words.
or no or a
No, no,
true
no,
or
no.
false when it relates to
The
a
last caller
proposition
you did with
cannot
the
be
great
true
words,
and
with the
false.
great words.
It cannot be true and false simultaneously because that would entail a contradiction. What I just said doesn't entail a contradiction.
Okay. Once again, I restate what you did with the girl with the great word. You kept asking the same question to confuse her. My question to you is simple. If you're looking backwards, can you see forward? No, you can only see one direction at one time. So, as a people, as a group of people, if we constantly are looking back, we can never move forward. And that's the problem. We're constantly trying to separate and say it's okay for one to do it, but not the other. We need to look at it and say it's not okay, period. It doesn't matter because we're people. We should love and respect each other. You can't say that's what's wrong with the world now and our views is we try to make it pretty and rosy for everybody and make everybody's feelings happy when we just say no is no, yes is yes. So if it's not okay for one, it can't be okay for the other. It doesn't matter how you're born into it, what race you are, because you can't set an example. And I know I've said it more than times than I should have, but if you can't set an example and then turn around and say you can't follow my example, that's all I'm saying to you.
Again, you have misunderstood everything that I've said. I literally
Nope.
responded to you and you didn't listen to this. I
I listened
said
to you.
the
I
example
just
that's
don't
being set
agree with
up.
you.
Well, you're not listening because I just explained this.
I'm
The
listening. I
example that
just
we
don't
are
think
setting
you're
up,
right.
the example, thank you for the hand, I appreciate it. The example that we are setting up is not people who are not a part of the community saying the term. It's people who are part of the community saying the word as is based on the idea of reclamation. That is not a double standard here, as that same standard would apply to white people. It's just there's not a particular word in which has been used here, right? To again discriminate on the basis of them being white or to discriminate on that
Sure.
notion. So if
Sure.
that is the
And what
case,
about the
well then
word onky, but you put an H in front of it? People used it all the time, but
appreciate the
the
gem
fact
gun. Thank
is,
you so
it's a
much.
word.
What are you
It's a
talking? I don't know
word.
what you're
The
talking
fact
about.
is, all right, the word honky. People use it all the time, or
Is it
crack.
what is that
The,
supposed to be referred to? Cracker's not a slur.
oh, cracker is a slur for a white guy.
No, it's not
How old are
because
you?
it's not been
When was
historically
you born? When
2002.
was you
It
born?
has not historically been used to
2002.
disadvantage.
Okay.
It has
All right.
not been
So,
historically used to disadvantage a particular community and unjustly treat them or oppress them. That's not the case at
but
all.
it's a slur. You said it's
No, it's
slurs
not.
okay. It's a slur.
No, it's not.
It is a slur.
What's a slur?
The
Define.
fact of the matter is, when people use slurs all the time, they just have a lack of the English language because they try to make something more than what it is. It's not okay to
What?
use slurs, period. It's not okay for one to use slurs and then the other two. So the whole thing of you saying it's
You just
okay,
keep
it's
saying the
that
same
that
thing and
is
not responding
your,
to anything.
well, that's because you're trying to push forward your example only, and you did it with several other callers. It's either your way or none. You're not listening to anybody else's reason because you're already set in your
I am.
answers
I am.
and
I
your
actually gave you
responses.
responses to every single thing you said. I told you that it was a false dichotomy. I gave you many scenarios in which indicated, right?
And that's
Again,
your opinion
clearly,
of it. It's not a false dichotomy.
it
What it
absolutely is a false
is you
dichotomy. I
keep
gave you a
saying,
reason as to why it was a false dichotomy
no,
because you're
that's
saying
your
that the only
reasoning.
way that you could analyze a particular circumstance is by either looking at the past or just looking at the future. When in reality, you can look at both the past and the future to analyze a particular circumstance. I gave you
Okay, once
reasons.
again,
I gave
I
you a
asked the
response.
question.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I gave you reasons.
Okay,
I gave you a response, and you simply have not responded to anything yet restated the
I've
exact same
responded to
initial claim.
everything. I'm just
Respond to what I just said
responding
then.
to what you
Again,
want me
respond to the
to.
fact that I called it a false dichotomy and respond to the reasons I gave as to why it's a false dichotomy.
Listen, I'm just going to go back to my same premise. I'm not going to get off on
No,
a
tell
rabbit
me why
trail.
it's not a fault.
No,
Tell
no,
me
no,
why
no.
it's not a
You
false
asked the
dichotomy.
simple question. Why do you think it's okay to use slurs? I
No,
don't think
why
it's
is it not
okay.
a false dichotomy? Tell me right now.
No, you sit here and say
Tell me
your
right now.
question
We
was,
can talk about that here in a
why
second.
do
Vincent, we
you
can talk
think
about that in
it's
a second.
okay? No, what I'm
Vincent,
telling you
answer
is
my
this right
question right
here.
now. Vincent, if you
Answer
don't
my
do it, I'm going to
question.
go on to the next person. I'm not wasting any more
If you
time.
need to
Answer my
go, that's
question.
fine because you're not going to change my mind. It's not okay to use
Yeah, because
slurs
you have
regardless of
confirmation
what
bias.
race you are.
You have
Huh?
confirmation bias. That's why I can't change your mind.
No, I'm not confirmation bias. I just know that if it's wrong for one, it's wrong for everybody. And you think it's not wrong.
I'm giving you.
So that's
So
the
no, no, no.
fundamental.
Go back to the reason that you just Oh, he just left. I didn't kick him out, by the way. He just literally left. Um, but yeah, I don't know why he just left. If he wants to send a guest request back, I'll accept him back. I don't know why Vincent just left. But yeah, in the meantime, everyone tap that screen. Let's try to get to 1 million likes. If you want to help get it out to more people, share the live. Let's try to get it out to more people. Let's try to get to 2,000 shares. Everyone copy link, send it to a few friends. I guess we're going to go on to the next person. I don't see him in the guest box, everyone. Um, I don't know why he just left. That was super random. That was like a weird time for him to leave. All right, we're gonna go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you do disagree, everyone. We are just looking for some debates, y'all. Again, only send a guest request if you do disagree, if you think that it's okay to use slurs, if you're not in the community, everyone. All right, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
20.
For sure. Do you think it's okay to use slurs if you're not a part of the community?
Yes, yes.
Why so?
Because I don't think words are bad itself. It's only how you use them. So if you use a word in a bad sense, it's bad, and if you just say it like in a song, it's okay.
Okay. So for example, right, is it okay to say anything in the context of a song?
If it's not in a bad way.
What would be considered a bad way? Because I think any usage of someone who's not a part of the community using a slur, right, is a bad usage.
Like what?
Like if a white person uses the N word, that's bad in a song. Do you agree?
No.
No, you don't think it's wrong for a white person to use the N word in a song?
Also, it's how you use it. If you just say it, it's okay. No.
Why?
Why? Because I don't think the word is or bad itself, just how you use it.
Okay. So, is there anything that you can say in the context of a song in which is considered bad?
No.
No? So if someone makes fun of genocide in the context of a song, is that okay?
Um, I don't know. What do you mean?
Do you know what genocide means?
Yes, yes. You mean if someone make jokes about it?
Yeah, if someone talks about them engaging in genocide or saying people should engage in genocide in the context of a song, is it okay? Because it's a song?
No, but in that song, then he using